I used to never be able to leave my house without putting a full face of makeup on. And for me, the big thing that I always needed to have on was foundation. I couldn't go to the gym without putting foundation on, which now, if you think about like how terrible that was for my skin and sweating and mixing foundation with the open pores and just clogging them up. But in 2018, I realized that makeup really did have a hold over my life. And it was something that I really wanted to break free of because I realized that makeup defined my self-worth. And if I didn't have makeup on, then I didn't feel pretty and I didn't feel good about myself. And so it held me back from a lot of things. And I did not want to live my life feeling that way. So in an effort to start feeling more comfortable in my own skin, I decided to fast makeup. So what that meant is for 21 days, I chose to not wear any foundation or eyeliner or mascara or anything. I just went barefaced and it was so hard for me. I remember taking a picture of myself that very first day and just feeling terrible. Like I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel like I looked good and it was really hard. But by the end of those 21 days, I realized that my skin looked so much better. Some of my acne that I put makeup on to cover up had actually started to clear up, and I started to be like, wow, my skin doesn't look too bad. And once the fast was over, and by the end of the fast, I'd gotten to the point where it wasn't so hard and I stopped thinking about it. What I realized is I would get up in the mornings and get ready, and that routine was a whole lot faster and a whole lot simpler. And I was able to just walk out the door without makeup on. And I enjoyed that freedom that it gave me. So when the fast ended, for the first few days, I went and I just added eyeliner and mascara. So I still kept my skin clear, but I just added eyeliner and mascara just for a little something. And I realized that, wow, I can do this. Like I feel good wearing this. It's simple, it's fast, I feel put together, but I'm not covered in a full face of foundation. And as I added foundation back in, I actually noticed that my skin actually got worse again. So that was in 2018. And that released me a little bit from the hold that makeup had, but not fully. And so in 2019, I did it again. And in 2020, I did it again. And then COVID happened and the shutdown happened. And so I had a lot of opportunity to not wear makeup because there was no reason to leave the house. But anyway, over this 3-year journey and fasting makeup and giving it up and releasing the power that it had on me, it really started to change the way that I saw myself and the confidence that I had in myself. And I realized that my focus shifted too, so that instead of focusing on makeup and covering up and wearing a mask, I started to focus more on taking better care of me, taking better care of my skin, using better ingredients, drinking more water, and really focusing more on the root of a problem instead of just covering up all of the symptoms. But through this journey now, 5 years later, I rarely wear makeup. I rarely wear foundation. But the amazing part is that whether I wear foundation or I wear a little mascara or I wear nothing at all, it doesn't define how I see myself. It doesn't define my self-worth. It doesn't define my value. It doesn't define my confidence that I can walk out the door to a grocery store, to a meeting, to take my kids to school, and whether I have a full face on or just mascara or nothing, I don't think about it. It doesn't have a hold over me. And it's realizing the holds that we have in our life that limit us from living that life of freedom, of living that life of peace and of joy. and really looking at those things and saying, what are the things that are holding me back from being the best person that I can be, of living a life of freedom, of joy, of peace. And starting with makeup, that was the first thing that I realized, that it had so much more of a hold over me than I realized. And there were so many other areas in my life that I needed to look at and get free from. And so just starting with that makeup, but starting with makeup, one, it was something I was able to break free from, and two, it gave me the confidence to tackle other, stronger, deeper rooted things in my life in order to start living a life where I was stripping off the things that weighed me down and starting to run with endurance the race that God had set before me.